Cabin Sports Radio.
Here comes the siren. I want to go higher. Oh, my goodness. He's doing a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it. Posey will defend. Oh! LeBron James with no regard for human life.
Pass is intercepted at the goal line by Malcolm Butler. Unreal.
Oh, baby, for sure.
Cabin Sports Radio starts now.
Cabin Sports Radio brought to you by Sport North on the Cabin Radio airwaves every Monday night. That's right, you get Mike and I yapping at you about sports for an hour, but you like it. Happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody. Lots going on. Games starting early to celebrate that in the NBA. A couple NHL games going on right now, and it's also the anniversary of Willie O'Ree's NHL debut, the first black player in NHL history who is getting his number retired, I believe, a little bit later on this year by the Boston Bruins. So very exciting stuff. And if you are celebrating out there in any way, then definitely a happy Martin Luther King Day to you. Mike, welcome back for another episode of Cabin Sports Radio. How was your weekend, sir?
It was pretty good. Was slated to work on Saturday, was not the case, so had a nice free day off. Had some basketball Friday night and practice Sunday as well. I did want to mention off the top, because this always happens. We always have our show on Monday and then something related to sports breaks on Tuesday. Usually that's the case.
Yep.
Midway through the week.
Without fail.
This is not a breaking news story by any stretch of the imagination whatsoever, but I was reminded of our quiz from, I guess, 2 weeks ago now. I shot a wedgie.
Oh, he shot a wedgie.
I shot a wedgie.
Whoa.
We had, so I played in two games on Friday night. AJ of Cabin Radio can attest to this as well.
Right.
I had a little bit of a hot streak going on. This was actually right after a bank as well. And I did call it, so it counted.
So you weren't building any houses?
It's really, it's hit or miss with me. I'm either straight up air balls or swishes. And I had a nice little streak going on, extending the floor a little bit. It all came crashing down. And it really did signal the end of my shooting for the night. I shot a wedgie. I just hucked it up there, and everyone said, you know what, that was actually a really fitting way for you to end your shooting streak for a perfect wedgie. But like I said earlier, too, it made me feel a little bit better that I was the tallest person in the gym. Well, and I was able to pop it back out of there.
Of course,
but
yes.
This happens right after the quiz. I can't even tell you the last time I shot a wedgie. And here we go, Friday night. That was the end of my shooting, and it was in the form of a nice fat wedgie.
That's
in between the backboard and the rim.
Good stuff. I mean, as regular listeners, any regular listeners to Cabin Sports Radio, know we are not betting men here. Well, you more so than me. You like to put down some money every once in a while.
Yep.
I'm a coward.
Okay.
I do not. But if I had to, I definitely would have put all of my money all in on AJ hitting that wedgie.
Yeah.
No,
it was. I don't know if we've had one this season otherwise.
Wow.
But AJ would be a top contender for a wedgie.
Yeah.
That guy's game has improved
like 2-to-1 odds.
Incredibly. I've got to say, over two seasons, we're really happy to have him. He is a fantastic addition. He's a good member of the Yellowknife Jazz.
Offensively too?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. He's made really, really good strides. He's a pleasure to have on the team. Wow. And he's improved quite a lot. He's a really good defensive player too.
Yeah. He told me that was all he had.
Yeah, and he's happy to check the opposing player's best player. He really is.
Right.
Takes on that challenge, does a really good job, but has really improved significantly on the offensive end as well.
He's got good feet, that kid. Good hustle.
He's good heart. He's a good kid.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to it. Enough about AJ and his basketball prowess. It's time to talk about actual basketball, professional basketball, if you will, and everything else going on in the world of sports with a look at our CSR headlines.
things are certain in life, Lecter: death, taxes, and Tom Brady conference championship appearances. The 6-time Super Bowl champion led the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a 30-20 win over the New Orleans Saints last night to set up a showdown against the Packers in next week's NFC title game. In the AFC, the reigning champion Chiefs will play the Bills for the conference championship after eliminating the Browns and Ravens respectively in the divisional round.
So anyone could have predicted that one.
Well, we were talking about placing money on various sports events earlier.
Yeah.
And I did not put my money where my mouth is. I like the Saints. I don't know why. They beat them twice.
We both did, yeah.
I think we said this in the last episode of Cabin Sports Radio. A good defensive team had their number in the regular season, whooped them in 2 regular season games. So, it wasn't looking overly promising for the Buccaneers, but of course they've got the GOAT.
They got the GOAT.
And I didn't bet on this game, but I guess I sort of did on the air by saying that I had a feeling that they were going to come out on top, the Saints, that is. And here I am, a week later, eating my words, 30-20 win for the Bucs, and they're moving on to another conference championship for Tom Brady. Should we be surprised? I guess not.
No, we really shouldn't. I mean, the Buccaneers have a good team, and, when you put, arguably, some don't even say it's an argument, the greatest quarterback of all time in the NFL, Tom Brady, behind that offense. And it is kind of the same story as what you had in New England, where it was Tom Brady didn't necessarily, and, I might like raise some pitchforks over this one, but Tom Brady was never the sole reason that the New England Patriots won.
Right.
And I feel like that was never more evident than in the years when they actually did win the Super Bowl. It was never, and I mean, he probably, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but he probably did win a couple Super Bowl MVPs.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine. But you look back at the numbers, and it was more like he got the job done.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he went out and lit the other team up. He wasn't throwing, like 4 or 5 touchdown passes or anything like that. But he just didn't make mistakes. Mm-hmm. He didn't give the other team opportunities to get back into the game. He took care of business on offense. His defense took care of business on defense. And it was always very much team wins. Mm-hmm. And I think this is kind of what we saw a little bit with the Buccaneers win over the New Orleans Saints as well. Drew Brees has kind of been throughout his career, and this is not. It sounds like I'm going to say this as a shot against him or like his team, but it seems like the New Orleans Saints throughout Drew Brees' time there have kind of lived and died by where Drew Brees can take them.
Yeah,
like he's always had the ability on any given night to go and do exactly that, shoot the lights out, throw for 4 or 5 touchdown passes, 400 yards, something ridiculous like that. But it seems like when in the crucial moments, if he wasn't available to do that, he's never for the longest time at least had a defense that could take that up for him and win that game when Drew Brees perhaps was, running into a rough patch against the defense he was facing. Tom Brady has always had good defenses behind him. And again, this is not slighting anything that he's accomplished throughout his career, because he is, I always hesitate to say it.
Yeah.
I always hesitate to say he's the greatest of all time, but he is definitely one of the greatest of all time. But he's always had those defenses there for him.
Yeah. So really, really similar numbers for both Drew Brees and Tom Brady. If we're talking the course of their careers, they've put up incredible resumes thus far. Drew Brees is still pretty reluctant to make any announcement about any impending retirement, what the future may hold for him and the New Orleans Saints. He did get his one Super Bowl, of course, in 2010 with the Saints, and
which
really
feels like a lifetime ago now.
It does, and they've always been there. They've always been knocking on the door in the NFC in the last couple of years, especially whether it's the divisional round not getting through or to the conference championship. They've had some real heartbreaks in New Orleans, but he's always had really, really good campaigns with New Orleans, and really across the board outside of obviously the Super Bowl success. Tom Brady, 6-time champion, 4-time Super Bowl MVP. Breeze did capture it in his lone win in 2010. But for passing yards, touchdowns, rushing, they're really similar across the board. For over the course of their career. So Drew Brees has had an incredible run.
Absolutely.
13 time Pro Bowl participant. So I mean, he's right up there with
First
the greats.
ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, he's up there with the greats. They shared a special moment post game. I don't know if you saw. They were able to go on the field afterwards with their kids. So a lot of mutual respect both ways. But here we are again talking about Tom Brady with a chance to go to potentially another Super Bowl. Obviously, the stiffest test awaits them with the Green Bay Packers, who were atop the NFC all year long. Aaron Rodgers, who continues to build on his sterling career as another all-time great at the quarterback position. But Tom Brady gets through as he always does with the help of Rob Gronkowski. He always had, like you said, strong defenses, really strong lines. Played with one of the best tight ends to ever do it in Gronkowski, who of course moved over to Tampa Bay with him. Has always had all-world wide receivers at his disposal, but just gets it done. At the end of the day, that's really all you can say. Just gets it done. Pretty pedestrian numbers last night. Completion rate wasn't off the hook.
Rushing touchdown.
Yeah, which would have been the go ahead and ceiling touchdown last night from 1 or 2 yards out.
I think that's the sort of thing that just speaks to just getting the job done.
Totally.
However it has to be done, Tom Brady has been able to find ways. Did you see I don't know if you saw the video after the rushing touchdown, he gave kind of a fake out high five to the official?
I did see that, yes. Not reciprocated.
I don't know what was going on there, but it was hilarious.
He's pretty pumped. The referee obviously didn't feel the same way.
He's got to remain impartial. I can't high five Tom Brady.
It's cool seeing that emotion from, this guy's now going to his 14th championship game now. He has, I think, 32 playoff wins for his career.
Wow.
And if you're talking post-merger, he's in like the top 5 for franchises getting that amount of wins since the merger anyway. So just unparalleled success in the postseason and has a chance to extend it. It's really pretty crazy when you start talking about it, but only threw for like a little more than 200 yards, I think, last night when all was said and done. Did have the one pick, but the defense for the Buccaneers came through with a couple really key late turnovers, and that was pretty much all she wrote, and the Saints weren't able to recover. So another crushing defeat for New Orleans fans, and another gutsy get-it-done win for Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, and now they're taking the Bucs with them as they did with the Patriots for many years. So
2 perfect seasons worth of playoff wins for Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Is that a bad omen? Because the one year that they did have a perfect season with the New England Patriots, of course, that was one of their 2 losses to the New York Giants.
Yep.
In the Super Bowl that year. So
18-1.
Yeah.
Eli Manning just had to pee on the parade for him.
Yeah, so there's no Eli to contend with anymore.
That's
so
right.
you don't got to worry about that. His arch nemesis, Eli. A lot of people said it was Peyton. No,
it was Eli.
It was Eli all along. But yeah, Green Bay. That's the one that the obvious one that I threw out a little Super Bowl prediction.
Yep.
Yesterday, said Green Bay, Baltimore. That's down the tubes the following week. But Green Bay there, I expect them to put up a good fight, if not come out of that conference championship. But of course, they are going to be facing Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. So no cakewalk there. In the AFC, we pretty much could have predicted that, right?
Yeah, it was really the Chiefs really squeaking by the Browns, though. 22-17, the final, and a bit of a late storm. But now I think all eyes are on Patrick Mahomes, who did suffer a bit of a head injury during the game when he was pulled down. I think they did announce that he had a concussion afterwards. But coaching staff saying he's feeling and looking great right now. So doesn't seem like there's any reason to sound the alarm bells in Kansas City. So hopefully he's all good to go for next week. And then the Buffalo Bills just completely stifling your other Super Bowl prediction, the Baltimore Ravens, 17-3.
Yeah.
So
and 101 yard pick six.
Yeah,
but basically it was 10-3. The Ravens were knocking on the door. Jackson threw one into the end zone, picked off in the end zone, run back 101 yards.
Yeah,
like that's a momentum killer.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
So the Bills' miracle run continues. They'll face the Kansas City Chiefs. Hopefully, for the Chiefs' sake, Patrick Mahomes is good to go, and thus ends the one. I mean, great season for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
Obviously, a huge wild card round win over the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. We knew it was probably over against the Chiefs.
Put up a fantastic fight. Really, we were one score away from a Buffalo-Cleveland AFC title game. It doesn't get sexier than that.
Oh, my
God. The
God.
TV ratings, Lecter, would have been absolutely off the chains.
Yeah.
Everyone in America would have been tuning in for Buffalo I should stop making fun of them. But it was a great run. It really was. They were one score away from upsetting the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs. That would have been a remarkable story. And the Bills' amazing season continues. So no discredit there. I'm just poking a little fun at the cities. But really, really good seasons for both teams. And we'll see if the Bills have any more magic in them. What level of health are the reigning champs at when they play each other next Sunday? So could be in for another good game. What an upset that would be.
I don't know if you saw this on Twitter. I'm surprised I saw it. Frankly, I'm surprised anyone saw it because I don't know why anyone follows this guy anymore. But Johnny Manziel.
Yep.
All right, a.k.a. Johnny Football. A.k.a. former Cleveland Browns starting quarterback. Posted a bit of a saucy tweet. A GIF with I think it was a Stephen A. Smith GIF with him just making kind of a saucy, like, oh, that's unfortunate kind of face. In regards to the Cleveland Browns loss. Oh, he got torched over that one.
I bet.
Oh, I was surprised I didn't see a replies to this tweet this tweet has been deleted.
Oh, yeah.
But Johnny Manziel, always an act before you think kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
And why should he change now, right?
Why change? Don't ever change, Johnny. Let's shift gears to some basketball. The Brooklyn Nets shook up the NBA with a blockbuster trade last week, landing three-time reigning scoring champion James Harden from the Houston Rockets in a 4-team trade. The deal immediately gives the Nets one of the best trios ever assembled in Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Harden. The two other teams involved in the deal were the Cleveland Cavaliers and Indiana Pacers, who both address needs of their own at the same time.
All right, give me an honest take on this trade, Mike. Obviously, as you just mentioned, that is a pretty fearsome trio with Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden. But all I've been seeing online as far as reaction to this goes is the Brooklyn Nets basically mortgaged their entire franchise's future. Obviously, the whole name of the game is to win a championship. Do you think that this trade was worth it? And do you think that this trade will be enough?
Well, it's an organization that's not afraid to pull the trigger on a big deal like that. They, of course, did something similar, a few years back by bringing in veterans, I'll say delicately, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett at the time from the Boston Celtics, well past their prime. Had Joe Johnson, Darren Williams at the same time too. That did not pan out. They ended up sending a lot of picks Boston's way. At the same time, really mortgaging their future back then too. It didn't pan out. Nothing came of that. I don't even know if they got beyond the conference quarterfinals or even the semifinals. It didn't pan out. But we're seeing the same situation here. This is arguably the best trio ever, though. Kevin Durant is a 4-time scoring champion. And James Harden is a 3-time reigning scoring champion, which is really, really rare. Michael Jordan, of course, has 10, but you'll never see that again just because there are so many quality players across the league. And they have the two best scorers maybe ever. It's a conversation to be had anyways. Their career averages are just off the charts. They can hoop as well as absolutely anyone. And then you throw in Kyrie Irving, who's probably the best ball handler in the world at this point, is a proven winner, has won on the biggest stage with LeBron James in 2016 against the Golden State Warriors. Comes with some baggage, of course. We don't even know exactly when he's going to return to play after taking a bit of a personal leave from the team and not really being in communication with the squad for the past couple of weeks as he's sitting out. But hopefully for their sake, able to get back onto the court soon so we can see the three of them play together. But like you said, won't have a first-round pick for years now. I think Durant's going to be almost 40 by the time that they'll have a first-round pick again.
That's just crazy.
It is.
Honestly.
It's much like what the Clippers did 2 off seasons ago when they brought Paul George and Kawhi Leonard into the fold there. They don't have a first-round pick until like 2027, I don't think. So really two teams completely mortgaging their futures right now, as you said. Some good promising pieces going the other way. Chris LeVert, no longer in the uniform. Jared Allen, now a member of the Cavaliers, so he'll be their big man going forward. And then all of your picks and pick swaps going out now. So they are betting on this newfound trio. And, they're in their primes. They're in their early 30s or late 20s in Kyrie's sake. But Durant has said and maybe his stance has changed a little bit on this, but in the past has said that he doesn't want to play basketball after 35, and he's 31 right now.
Yeah.
So you're looking at a solid 3-year window here. So
right.
For Brooklyn's sake, you're really hoping that you can do something special. Obviously sacrifice a lot of depth, some size even. Their starting 5 is incredible. Joe Harris can shoot the ball as well as anyone, and then you factor in DeAndre Jordan. That's the best starting 5 in the league, hands down. Sacrifice some depth though, but between the three of them, you can have one of them on pretty much at any point of the game. So it is a gamble, but it's a gamble that they were willing to take because you get a generational talent in James Harden, who can score better than anyone in the league right now, except for maybe Kevin Durant, who's his teammate. So they're playing together again for the first time since would have been 2011, I think, when Harden was traded from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Rockets. So they're reunited in Brooklyn. They just have to bring Russell Westbrook back, but that's not going to happen because they got Kyrie. So they'll be very dangerous. And the first game yesterday or maybe Saturday looked really good together. So we'll see what happens when Kyrie factors in as well. Charles Barkley already dubbing them the Dribble Brothers. So, of course, Kevin Durant played with the Splash Brothers, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in Golden State. Now he's playing with the Dribble Brothers, and it makes sense. So the one concern is there's only one basketball, and these are three guys that are volume shooters that need the ball in their hands to be effective.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant knows better than the other two anyways, sacrifice playing with 3 other All-Stars in Golden State and winning 2 championships. Would have won a third if he didn't get injured against the Raptors. I said it. Wow. Kyrie has also won on the biggest stage. So now you're really going to need more buy-in, I think, from James Harden and Kyrie Irving on what it really is going to take for them to elevate their play and get everyone involved. And it's going to be a nightmare for other teams because you're going to have to pick your poison. Who do you leave open? It can't be Joe Harris. It's not going to be any of the other 3. Is DeAndre Jordan going to be wide open for dunks and layups for seasons to come? So a really, really dangerous trio formed in Brooklyn now. It's an unquestioned super team, the best super team we've seen in some time, which is scary because we've had some really good ones. So they are going to be really, really dangerous if they figure it out quickly.
So 2 thoughts/questions about this trade for you. Number 1, do you think this is kind of a symptom of just how the NBA operates now, which is, we've said in the past that it's very much it's a players' league in the sense that players are dictating what teams are going to be the the powerhouse teams. It's not even necessarily the GMs anymore who are, going out and wheeling and dealing and making great moves. It's the players who decide, we want to go and we want to play with this guy. We want to, they're really calling the shots more than they ever have before in the last, 5 years or so. And you've seen more and more of that kind of happen where players are they're really dictating where the powerhouses are going to be rather than the actual GMs themselves. Do you think this kind of trade and just like the idea that you would trade, not even have a first round pick for the next 5-6 years? What is it? I don't even know exactly what the deal was.
Yeah, it's the late 2020s. It's like 2028 or something like that.
Yeah, which if you did that in the NHL, that's franchise suicide.
Yeah.
Like you're done. If you did that in the NFL, that's franchise suicide. Like they just the leagues and lifespans for players just don't work that way in those respective leagues. In the NBA, this is arguably worth it. Do you think that is a symptom of the way the NBA has changed?
Yeah, I mean, if you think, even this past decade, the Boston Celtics, super team of when they won their championship, 2008, bringing Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, Kevin Garnett together. Then, of course, in 2010, the Miami Heat formed their big three with LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. Then the super team out west with the Warriors. That was built, not bought, you could say, because at least Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green, all drafted by the Warriors. They win a championship together in 2015, then, of course, lose in 2016. And that's when they bring in the best scorer in the world in Kevin Durant and dominate the league for the next 3 seasons, winning almost 3 championships with their super team. And then sort of balance was almost brought to the NBA when Kawhi Leonard sort of spurned the Lakers and went to the Clippers in the offseason after winning a title with the Raptors. And then we had a lot of, really good quality duos popping up. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden in Houston, Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in Brooklyn. So all these star duos popped up. You didn't really have a super team, though, for the first time in some time anyways. Now, unquestionably, we've got a super team in the NBA now with the Brooklyn Nets. And now sort of all eyes shift to some other players in the league. Bradley Beal probably, and Karl Anthony Towns are probably at the top of most teams' wish lists as we approach the trade deadline. But you're right, it's a players' league. It's a superstar league. Superstars win championships. There's only 5 guys on the court at any given time, and in the games that matter the most, they're going to be playing pretty close to 48 minutes. So you can change the complexion of a game if you're a superstar player, and if you're surrounded by other players of the same caliber of play, it just makes your life that much easier. A total nightmare for defenses because you have to pick your poison, essentially. Do you overload this guy and risk leaving someone else open? And that's, what the Cavaliers dealt with when they were playing against the Golden State Warriors for 4 postseason or 4 finals in a row.
Right.
Who do you leave wide open? You've got the 2 best shooters in history, arguably, in Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, one of the best scorers to ever do it in Kevin Durant. And then you've kind of got your glue guys like Iguodala and Draymond Green. So yeah, it really is a nightmare for teams to sort of figure out what they're going to do. And we definitely have a super team again in the NBA.
Yeah.
And they reside in Brooklyn.
Well, and the thing too is there's only so many franchises who could get away with making a move like this, right? Because, like for example, Milwaukee, who just re-signed Giannis to that Supermax deal. They absolutely needed to retain him to be any type of a contender within the next however many years, but a team like the Milwaukee Bucks is never going to be that attractive location where you're going to be able to pull in a super team like this, to have superstars flocking. Places like Brooklyn, LA, and maybe Chicago or
Yep.
something like
Yep.
that. Philadelphia, like these
Miami,
are places.
Golden
Miami,
State.
exactly. These are places that are always going to be attractive
Yep.
options to superstar players. So they could legitimately make a move like that and think, well, if it doesn't work out, who cares about draft picks? We're always going to be a contender to land the next big superstar. So, it kind of, it's an is what it is type of situation. It's a little bit unfair, but you do have that flashy geographical leverage
Yep.
in this type of situation. So, kind of unfortunate for Toronto fans, for example. Like, not saying that they can't attract superstar players because, now they have an actual winning history. There's a bit of a tradition there. So who knows what'll happen in the next, in the future of Toronto. But my other question and observation, whatever you want to call it, was: do you think that this, the perspective of this type of trade, does it make to you the Kawhi trade to bring Kawhi Leonard to Toronto even that more amazing?
Well, yeah, because it was the ultimate gamble as well.
Yeah.
But that saw your longest tenured player, your franchise player at that point, someone, and like you said, it is pretty rare for a team like Toronto to recruit and attract free agents. Even if they score a meeting with a marquee free agent, it's a pretty big deal.
Right.
When LaMarcus Aldridge, a couple years ago, before he re-signed with the Spurs, was searching out his options and did meet with the Raptors, that was kind of a big deal, that they had sort of earned the respect of players around the league.
Right.
But other than that, have struck out on a lot of bigger fish. Kawhi was brought in, not via free agency, obviously. It was a mid-season trade. But that is all the more impressive because we saw a really, really key player of the organization go the other way. It's probably easier to part with draft capital than it is with a player, and a player who committed to your organization up to that point, was on a trajectory to be the best player in franchise history, had just signed a big deal with you, and then you send him packing to bring in a winner, someone who had done it on the biggest stage before, a franchise player, a two-way player, and you get it done. So yeah, it like that was the ultimate gamble on Masai Ujiri's part, and couldn't have paid off any better. Yeah. And now we're seeing lots of teams make similar gambles. The thing with the Raptors, though, too, they didn't mortgage their future. They had
right.
So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, it does make it look really good because they were able to do that and not mortgage their entire future, or at least for the next few seasons anyways. Off to a rough start this year.
Right.
So maybe Kyle Lowry does get flipped at the deadline, bring in some pieces. Or maybe there is another free agent that we're not thinking of right now that they make a play on, just to take them over the edge a little bit.
But even if it doesn't work out this year, at least they still have first-round picks for the next...
That's right.
However many
and
years.
Still a really promising young core that you've just re-signed. Norm Powell isn't going anywhere.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet isn't going anywhere. Pascal Siakam isn't going anywhere. OG Anunoby isn't going anywhere.
Right.
So you hold on to all of your core young pieces. You don't give away draft picks. Yes, it was heartbreaking to see DeMar DeRozan go to San Antonio, but you get your championship, which is what you're after. You don't mortgage any other pieces, and you're still relevant. Like, they could easily turn things around and be in a playoff position by the end of this season too. They're in a really tough division now, especially with the Harden trade, but they could turn it around. So we'll see. But other teams clearly not shy at making big deals for win now decisions. So we'll see. Hope for their sake that they're able to capture a title in the next 3 years, because that's probably what their window's looking like. And
no pressure.
I know. And that other the teams like the Lakers and the Clippers and the Bucks and the Sixers won't be quiet at the deadline.
Yeah.
So everyone's going to be gunning for Brooklyn now.
Absolutely.
We will finally turn our gaze to the NHL. San Jose Sharks forward Evander Kane has filed for bankruptcy and was considering opting out of the current NHL season before ultimately deciding to play. Court documents say the 29-year-old has amassed $1.5 million in gambling losses and over $26 million in total liabilities. Kane is currently under contract until 2025 after signing a 7-year, $49 million deal with San Jose back in 2018.
Considering opting out of the NHL season,
I think it was for health and safety issues.
Right.
So he's got, and part of this, a number of lawsuits levied against him. He has 7 dependents as well, which is tough. All family members. But one of those will be his newest born, I think firstborn child.
Right.
So I think that was a consideration, just having a newborn and, given the state of the global pandemic right now. I think it was more from a health and safety lens, but yeah.
he really needs that fight against Logan or Jake, but one of the
brothers.
Through,
I
right?
want to say Jake Paul, who agreed to it. So maybe it's on, and maybe we can get the purse up a little bit more for our guy Evander here.
Like, can we make it like a best of 3 and increase
just
that
extend
purse
this
a little bit?
Get some pay-per-view draws. Sad story though.
It is, yeah. I mean, like it's just been throughout Evander Kane's career, it has been one thing after another. I mean, he came in with quite a bit of fanfare. Atlanta Thrashers pick, had a good rookie season there. Came over to Winnipeg. Everyone was excited to see him play as a Winnipeg Jet. Quickly wore out his welcome. Of course, then there was the whole tracksuit and shower incident. And
Dustin Byfuglien,
we may never have the full story.
No, it was a weird story.
There. But that whole thing happened. He got traded to Buffalo. The things went the Buffalo Sabres way. They just don't really seem to work out for many people in Buffalo. Seemed like he was, perhaps going to have a bit of a fresh start in San Jose. Seemed like he was settling in well as a San Jose Shark. And then, all of a sudden he's filing for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
And, you start just when you thought that things were maybe kind of quieting down and, without really knowing, it's not like we make a point of looking into his personal life and going, the TMZ Evander Kane route. But so when you don't hear things in the media, you just kind of hope for the best. And you hope that someone's just looking after their business and just, keeping their head down. Maybe you've, by 29 years old, you've learned a bit, you've been through some things. Hopefully you've matured a little bit. And then out of nowhere, he's filed for bankruptcy, and now stories are coming out as a result of that. Supposedly, he's been banned from 2 Vegas hotels. Or Vegas casinos / hotels, rather, for one can only imagine what. And then, but it just is not ending with this guy,
So I've had a couple friends run into him in public once. The same 2 friends, once in Vancouver and once in Las Vegas, both times in casinos. So unfortunately, it does paint a picture of someone who probably has an issue with gambling, which is sad for someone with so much promise. You hate to use the word locker room distraction or even the C word, locker room cancer.
Oh, that's C word.
I know this he bounces, like you said, he goes from one team to another and ultimately ends up being a distraction for the team he's playing for, which is really a shame because he's a really gifted hockey player. He's a serviceable forward, so much so that the Sharks re-sign him to a pretty nice term with length and value at 7 years, $49 million. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a really good deal in the NHL.
It's a good investment.
So someone who can score with the best of them, even this year, 3 points in 2 games played. He is a serviceable player in this league. He can score 20 to 30 goals for you on any given night. He plays with physicality, so he gives you that element as well. And is a proven, he's played on winners before. So I think that's why this hurts. Someone who clearly has issues with finances, and it's hard to not see the irony sometimes when you recall the social media post back in the day of him with his money phone, right? Holding a stack of bills in his hand, pretending to make a phone call on a balcony. It looks like somewhere in Las Vegas. Doing push-ups in a Vegas hotel room with stacks of money on his back. That's a bad look.
Who
when we
would have thought that
consider-
one would come back to bite him?
I know. So tough for Kane. He's found himself in quite a hole. Hopefully, I mean he is under contract for the next 5 years, anyways, until 2025.
Yeah.
So hopefully he can turn things around on the ice too, and still provide value for the Sharks, who did make an investment on him. And then also figure out a way of this really, really messy financial hole he's dug himself into.
You may recall last year there was a pretty positive success story with Bobby Ryan and him going into the NHL's addictions counseling program.
Yep.
I can't remember exactly what the program is called, but to deal with things he was going on with regards to alcohol abuse.
Yep.
And he was gone for basically the entire season. I think he returned to the Ottawa Senators lineup with about maybe 10 games
That's right.
left.
I remember him coming back.
Before everything got shut down. Scored, I think, a hat trick in his first game back or something like that, and got like a huge ovation from the crowd. It was a really, really nice moment for him, and just kind of a nice moment for the league, and showing that, you know, like there is a way back, you know, and so. I assume that this program also covers, you know, gambling addiction, that sort of thing.
I would think, yeah.
I hope, I really, really hope that Evander Kane is taking this seriously and is taking advantage of all the resources that are available to him, and hopefully taking a good hard look at doing something like that. Mm-hmm. And hopefully we will hear a similar success story on the other side of all of this. All right, that'll do it for segment one of Cabin Sports Radio. On the other side of this, Mike Gibbons has another little quiz for me. That next on Cabin Sports Radio.
The Cabin Sports Radio podcast, brought to you by Sport North, moving sport forward.
Cabin Sports Radio brought to you by Sport North, moving sport forward. Check out sportnorth.com for everything regarding sport in the North, including the Kids Sport NWT program. It is always worth your time and worth your consideration to make a donation to Kids Sport NWT. It is a wonderful national program, and a reminder that all of the money raised here, or rather I should say all of the money donated here in the North, stays in the North. A little extra incentive to support Kids Sport NWT. All right, it is quiz time. Mike has got a quiz for me today, and what are we focusing on today here, Mike?
All right, Lecter. So we're, of course, almost a week into the new NHL season, and in a condensed season, only 56 games this year, much like the league's bubble experiment last year. It's really anyone's guess who will lead the pack in different statistical categories by the end of the year. Connor McDavid, perhaps unsurprisingly, off to a quick start after registering a hat-trick in his second game of the year, putting him near the top of the NHL's goals list.
He's all right.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
So some other names at the top here. Phil the Thrill, leading the league in goals right now with 3. But Connor McDavid has the same amount after getting a hat-trick in his second game. My question for you, because Connor McDavid is Canadian, can you name for me the last 5 Canadian Rocket Richard winners? And we're doing this because I'm basing this off an incredibly large sample size of about 3 games played.
Okay. I just realized I pre-read a couple of your questions, and man, my proofreading skills just could use some work. I didn't catch the Canadian part in there. So as I was thinking about it earlier, I was like, well, Alex Ovechkin's like 3 of them.
Yeah. Some of these will be a lot more obvious than you think.
Okay. The last 5.
I'm here to hold your hand. Some of them are tough though, but I'm here to help.
Okay. So the last 5 goal scoring leaders in the NHL. So I believe, right off the top of my head, one of them has got to be Steven Stamkos.
Steven Stamkos did it twice. Once in 2012 and once in 2010.
Okay, does that count as 2?
That counts as 1.
That counts as 1. Okay. And I recall back, I don't know what year it would have been, maybe like 2007. Corey Perry.
That's right.
Had a 50-goal season.
Yes. So he won the Rocket Richard in 2011.
2011. Okay. So I was a little off on the years, but okay. So I got 2. Now, I guess this depends on how many, but I'm just going to take a stab that maybe not that many more Canadians have won, and it goes as far back as Jerome McGinley.
So I will definitely give you Jerome McGinley. He shared it actually with another Canadian in 2004.
Okay.
Retired for a little bit now as well. Played with Columbus.
Okay. Yeah, Rick Nash.
Rick Nash. So Rick Nash and Jerome McGinley both shared the Rocket Richard in 2004.
Okay. So does that count as one?
So I'm going to get you've already got this one. You haven't got the most obvious one though.
Haven't got the most
generational talent.
Generational
won it
talent.
as recently as 3 years ago.
Sidney Crosby. Okay.
Did it in 2017 and 2010. Steven Stamkos, 2012, 2010. You got Corey Perry in 2011. So there are two. I do have two more. Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay.
Not Steven Stamkos. We're going back, thinking about the previous iteration of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah. Okay, so probably Martin St. Louis?
It wasn't St. Louis.
No.
It was his buddy.
Okay, Vinny Lecavalier.
Vinny Lecavalier. Okay. And another one that I would not have got, 2006 on the San Jose Sharks.
2006 San Jose Sharks. Oh, I know, Jonathan Cheechoo.
Cheechoo.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
So that Cheechoo train.
That one, I definitely would not have got that one. So that's a good one. That's a really good
Nice
on you
one.
for having that one.
Wow.
So that was obviously more than five. Rick Nash and McGinley were a little bit, they would have been 6 and 7 respectively.
Right. Yeah,
you hit it out of the park. Absolutely.
Right. Thank you.
So at the same time, and again, using my really large sample size of 3 games in, McDavid's teammate, Leon Draisaitl, is also off to a hot start. He sits atop the NHL with his partner, Connor McDavid, in points scored so far. Can you name for me the last 5 European Art Ross winners?
Okay. So, of course, last year was Leon Draisaitl.
That's right. Yep, he is number 1.
Okay.
You broke my quiz last time because it was I think I had a similar question last time around.
Right.
For players who are on Canadian teams, now we're looking for European players only.
Right. Okay. So Leon Draisaitl won. Not the year before that, but I think the year before that would have been Nikita Kucherov.
That's right. He 128 points or something.
Right.
A crazy season for the Lightning.
Okay.
So you got 2. Yep.
Got 2. Okay. So Art Ross. I mean, that kind of mostly takes Alex Ovechkin out of the running, but is he one of them? Did he win an Art Ross?
He is one of. I have his name down here. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What year did he win?
So that's going back to the late 2000s. It's before 2010. So this list, there are 5 Europeans up until 2010.
Right.
So it must have been 2008, 2009.
Okay. Must have been one of Crosby's concussion
That's where he probably would have been. Probably would have been. Yeah.
Okay.
But his teammates on here.
Oh, his teammates. Who's his teammate?
Sidney Crosby's team.
Oh, Sidney Crosby's teammate.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Evgeny Malkin.
Yep.
Yeah. He's done it like twice.
I've
done it once.
Got him down here for once, and that was back in 2012.
Gotcha. Okay. And so what do I have? One more?
You got 3. Yeah. So you've got including Ovechkin and Malkin.
Okay.
There are 3 more names on my list.
3 more.
You should get 2 of them for sure.
Okay.
And they happened in 2010 and 2011 back to back, but not the same player.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
But they're on the same team.
Oh, they're on the same team. Not the same player, but they're on the same team. European players who led the league in scoring.
Have since retired.
Oh, right.
Yep, you got it.
Right.
I know. I saw the spark.
Sedin twins.
The Sedin twins.
Yes.
Henrik Sedin 2010, Daniel Sedin in 2011. So now we're going. This is just a bonus one here. The latest one before Ovechkin. I don't have a year for you, but the last one before him, a member of the Colorado Avalanche.
Colorado Avalanche. Oh, wait. Oh no.
Formerly of the Nordiques.
Formerly of the
if I'm remembering
Nordiques.
correctly.
Peter
Forsberg.
Oh wow.
There you go.
Wow.
Gotta love it.
That's going back.
That's going back a little bit. Yeah.
Holy.
Yeah. But I mean, so Malkin appears on that list twice. Ovechkin appears on that. Oh, just the one time for Ovechkin.
Yeah.
But of course, as we know, more of a goal scorer.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So there are also some exciting rookies to look forward to this year. 2 of them on the same team with Shesterkin and Alexis Lafreniere in New York. Lafreniere, of course, going as the first overall pick. Kaprizov in Minnesota.
Yeah, he's made some noise, eh?
He impressed in his debut, getting an OT winner for Minnesota. And then, of course, did you see that Stützle goal on Saturday night?
I didn't see the goal. No, I heard he got his first one. I didn't see it. Though.
So against the Maple Leafs, when they were playing Jack Campbell, and Campbell even quoted saying afterwards, he just wanted to go out and shake his hand afterwards. He was upset that he let the goal in, but incredible hand-eye. It just sort of bounced and crossed right in the slot, and it was a hopping puck, and he just baseball swung it right off the bounce. So it was probably less than a foot off the ground,
right? And
he just slapped it, and it went.
Going to be good.
Went under the arm, the blocker arm, I think of Campbell.
Wait till he fills out a little. Holy
crap!
Crap, is he going to be a force?
So really impressed for Germany at the most recent World Hockey Junior Championships. He's going to be a good one for years to come.
Absolutely.
So. My question now for you, and we surprisingly don't have to go back far at all for this. I think we're only going back to 2013. Can you name for me the last 5 Canadian Calder Trophy winners as best rookie in the NHL?
Okay, going back to
only 2013. Okay. So even last year was a Canadian.
Even last year? Yeah, who was it last year? Already.
So it was a toss-up between 2 young defensemen, if you recall.
Right, okay. And I don't remember who ended up winning it. Was it the kid in Colorado?
That's right, yes.
Yeah, Cale Makar.
Cale Makar, your 2020 Calder Trophy.
You know what? I'm not even sure I knew he was Canadian, actually.
Yeah.
To be honest. Okay, Cale Makar. Who would it have been the year before that? I feel so out of the loop on top rookies.
It is tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
So 2019 was not a Canadian.
Okay.
But in 2018, we did have a Canadian Calder Trophy winner.
Okay. Who would the top rookie have been? Yeah, man, I'm not even having names.
So we're going to go...
Yeah, so the year before that would have been the other Colorado.
So 2019 was Elias Peterson.
Oh, right.
Who, of course, hails from Sweden.
Yeah.
2018... He came out really strong. Plays on a metropolitan team.
Okay.
He's on the island.
Yeah. What's his name? Matt Barzal.
Matt Barzal, your 2018 Calder Trophy winner.
Okay. I might need you to give me the teams that they're
Okay. All right. That's fine.
I think I'm going to be like fish out of water otherwise.
So 2017 was Austin Matthews' first season. He won the Calder Trophy that year.
Okay.
2016, we're going over to Russia. Artemi Panarin was your Calder Trophy winner.
He was a rookie in 2016.
I know. That's crazy.
Feels like he's been around longer.
I would have thought like in the earlier 2010s was when he made his NHL debut. Maybe was drafted and played in the minors or a little bit, but I was surprised to see that myself. He was skating with Patrick Kane, I guess, at that point before he was dealt. The bread man spent a couple years in Columbus, and now, of course, signing that really big deal with the New York Rangers.
Yeah, one of Chicago's more questionable trades in recent history.
Yeah, that's right. I guess guilty of he was a cap. A cap issue in Chicago.
Yeah.
So this one I would not have got. 2015. So there's 2 in the next. So 2015, 2014, 2013.
Okay.
All Canadians.
Okay.
2 of them on the same team in the Atlantic Division in Florida.
Okay. So
on Florida. I'll just say on Florida.
20. Oh, yeah, because Connor McDavid didn't win the top rookie, did he? Because he got injured.
Yeah, that's right.
Halfway through his rookie
season. He was definitely on pace to.
Yeah. Okay.
But got injured.
So Jonathan Huberdeau.
Yes. 2013 Calder Trophy winner.
Okay. And a teammate.
A teammate
in Florida.
Yep.
I can't even.
A
think
defenseman.
Of any, defenseman. Oh, yeah, right. Ekblad.
There you go. Aaron Ekblad?
Yeah.
2015.
Right. Yeah.
And the 20...
It's just such a black hole in Florida.
Yeah, I know.
You just forget about
I wouldn't
players.
have got that. And the 2014 Calder Trophy winner should be pretty obvious.
2014.
One of the game's best players right now.
Okay. 2014.
Hails from
Calder
a team
Trophy
you've already
winner.
touched upon.
Tampa Bay?
Nope.
No?
They may have had the Calder Trophy winner last year.
Okay. Last year.
Mr. McCarr.
Right. And, who would have been a rookie for Colorado at that time? Probably Nathan McKinnon.
Nathan McKinnon.
Yeah,
There you
okay.
go. So the last 5 Canadian Calder Trophy winners: Cale Makar, Matthew Barzal, Aaron Ekblad, Nate McKinnon, Jonathan Huberdeau.
Wow.
There
I
you
need
go.
a lot of help with that one.
That
Thank
one,
you
that's
very
tough.
much.
I'm sorry. That is tough. That was really tough.
Thank you for holding my hand.
Okay. And so the last one is really just, it's a goofy one. But
Okay.
before we get to that one, the second last one, now can you name me? And I think this one should be a bit easier. The goaltender positions, they stand out a little bit more.
Oof, man.
So we're gonna ask now for the last 5 Canadian Vezina Trophy winners.
Okay. So the last 5 Canadian Vezina Trophy winners. So one of them, I'm just going to throw Carey Price out there because
Of
I
course.
assume he's got to be in there.
Carey Price won in 2015.
Okay, awesome. I think Braden Holtby
He sure did.
Did win.
The year after that, 2016, as a
Okay.
member of the Capitals, Braden Holtby, Carey Price are on there.
Okay. Who else do we got for stellar Canadian goaltenders? Price and Holtby.
Yep.
Okay.
So there's a bit of a gap. There's about a 7-year gap. So
Oh, wow.
Before the next Canadian goaltender, and it's a very obvious one.
Yeah. Patrick Waugh. No, just kidding.
So I do have him and Ed Belfour splitting from 1993, I think, to 1988. They split the
It was
next
just that-
5.
oh, wow.
Yeah, from 88 to 93, they just traded it. I think Roy had 3, Belfour had 2.
Crazy.
So that's going back to 1993.
Okay.
So we've got in between those ones. So you've got 3 already,
Right.
There are 2 more though.
Okay.
And one of them is a 4-time Vezina Trophy winner: 2008,
would that be,
2007, 2004, 2003.
Okay. Would that be Martin
That is
Brodeur?
Martin Brodeur.
Okay.
And then we've got another 1-time Vezina Trophy winner. He won it in 2002.
2002.
As a
Okay. I
member
was
of-
going to guess 2003.
Okay.
And I think it's J.S. Jaguar.
Very close.
Oh. Close.
I say close because it is a French-Canadian goaltender who played on a
okay.
French-Canadian team.
Jose Theodore.
Jose Theodore, 2002.
Okay.
All right. And our final question, and by far the most ridiculous one, and just throw any name out there. If you get him in the top 5, you're good. Can you name any of the top 5 leaders in penalty minutes from last season?
You know what I love most about this question is my dad and some of his friends do a hockey pool every year in the
Yes.
playoffs, and they do not only the pool, which is traditional format like points, wins,
Yes.
but they do a reverse kind of pool called the
Okay.
goon pool.
Okay.
Where points is actually to your detriment and penalty minutes are what get you
Wow.
actual points. And so it's actually arguably as strategic as the regular pool.
Yeah.
But anyway, any one of the top 5 penalty leaders, and I assume they're all Canadian from
No,
last
I'm
season.
looking.
They're
I'm
not
looking
all
for
Canadian?
anyone. I'm looking for anyone.
Okay.
And I've only, if they're outside of the top 5, I won't know it. I've only written down my top 5 here.
Okay.
Ryan Reeves, I thought would have been there.
Yeah, he's
Not there.
one.
No, he's
eh?
not there.
How about Vander Kane?
Who we spoke about previously on the show. He was number 1.
Number
You
1.
got it.
All right.
Number 1. Also making the list, Brandon Lemieux, Brady
Yep, okay.
Tkachuk,
Yep.
former Leafs enforcer /pest/rat. You know who it is. Now a member of the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh, Nazem.
Nazem Kadri
Wow.
rounds out the top 4. And then Goudreau from the Sharks.
Oh, okay. I was going to say Johnny?
No. Sorry, Goodrow, I should say.
Right,
Goodrow.
right. Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
That rounds out your top 5.
Fantastic quiz, sir. Well done. Well done. I will definitely have to come back with something worthy of that for you next week. But that'll do it for this edition of Cabin Sports Radio. And we're going to finish off with something, arguably safe for radio. Not safe if unedited, but don't worry, your old pal Lecter's got you covered. If you may recall last year in the play-in round, the Columbus Blue Jackets versus the Toronto Maple Leafs, there were some absolutely classic post-game press conferences. And of course, they're all done through Zoom now, so it makes things even a bit more of an adventure sometimes. And the start of the 2021 NHL season is no different, with Jacob Voracek of the Philadelphia Flyers providing our first offering.
2 games in, Jake, how different does the season feel, if at all, given the circumstances of the offseason and the condensed schedule and everything?
Doesn't matter what I say, Mike. You're going to write every time. No, so it doesn't matter what you say. Yeah, it feels different. I mean, we got 4 points out of the first 2 games. I wasn't even going to answer your question because you are such a weasel. It's not even funny. Next question.
Charlie O'Connor, you're on with Jake and Travis. Go ahead.
Travis, in game 1,